Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Jim Kircher. St. Louis area native CC Ice has performed stunts in all sorts of big films and shows over the course of her career, appearing in everything from The Hunger Games to The Punisher. But one of her most recent jobs was the film that has been on so many minds right now, Avengers Endgame. Ice was the stunt double for Elizabeth Olsen in Infinity War. And she's also done stunt work for other Avenger characters. One of our producers, Evie Hemphill, recently spoke with Ice after a long day on set. Evie started by asking what she's enjoyed the most about her work on the Marvel movies.
The creative process with so many talented individuals. So I doubled her on Infinity War extensively, and then in Endgame, I actually worked behind the scenes a lot, doing rehearsals and previs and testing different stunt gags for other characters. As you know, there are other characters in this film, and I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it yet, but there are a lot of different superheroes, and so a lot of us do multiple things on films, not just one character. So in the rehearsal process, I did stunts for a lot of the other characters, and then when it went to camera, of course, those stunt doubles came in and performed those stunts as well. So it's that creative process that I love so much. Working with so many talented individuals across the board really inspires me all the time.
A few months ago, there was a Hollywood Reporter feature about you and some of the other stunt women who help some of our most beloved women superheroes save the world. And I loved this comment from Elizabeth Olsen, who said, quote, "The crazy thing to me about Cece is she can do anything you ask her to do," unquote. Is that pretty accurate?
She is so kind, and she is extremely talented. She inspires me all the time, and I was very my heart smiled when she said that. I know that I have a lot to learn, but I hope to bring as much, skill and talent that I can to each job. But I know there's still so much to learn every day. So I'm very flattered that she said that, and she is incredible in her own right. And she did a lot of wonderful things. She was basically a part of our stunt team for that first Infinity War part. So we got her on wires and had a great time, and she did an amazing job. She came in and trained with me. She got over and into a lot of the wire gags, up flying. It was really incredible to see her do those things. So I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, it sounds like being a stunt woman isn't just doing your own stunts, but helping other people do them safely.
Exactly. 100%. Our main job is safety. And I'm just, I say that across the board. And our main job is safety because at the end of the day, we all need to go home to our families, and it is just a film or a TV show, but it can also inspire people. So our job is to create amazing action sequences and do them, in a way that comes across as realistic as possible while still maintaining the safety level 100%, as best we can. Obviously, there's a lot of risk management and risk mitigation because there are certain things you just don't know that you cannot predict that might happen, but we go in with as much safety as possible to really accomplish these goals, especially if we have, A-list actors with us. We want to make sure they feel confident and safe to perform their side of it as well. So, yeah, we, the stunt crew, help get those actors feeling confident, feeling comfortable, and rehearse as much as possible while we have them.
And of course, a stunt by its very definition, I suppose, is something that's spectacular and daring and involves some risk. I guess my question is, do these things that feel scary sometimes to others also feel scary to you ever?
I think it's always good to have an amount of respect for the stunt that you're doing. I wouldn't say fear as in shaking in your boots, but a healthy amount of awareness of the dangers of the stunt, because if you don't, then that's where things go wrong. If you are very cocky and confident and think, this is easy, and don't really give respect due to where respect is needed for the stunt, then that's where I think things surprise you and things happen. So, there are times where you go, all right, well, I know that we've rehearsed this a lot, but for instance, the gag that I did in Scotland for Infinity War, I was being yanked from the street on a line through a window into a restaurant, through some tables and chairs on the other side. And, I had complete confidence in my rigging crew and my stunt coordinators, and we rehearsed it many times. But there's always that moment of, you don't know all the things in life that could happen. And so you have a healthy amount of respect, but I wasn't shaking in my boots with fear, but definitely ready to be, on it,
Mm-hmm. Well, how did you get into this field?
It's actually a conglomeration of many things. I think the inspiration happened when I was very young and seeing my mother, such a strong woman. She was a single parent raising 8 kids at one point, and she made it work and she provided for us. And then, seeing my family, my brothers and sisters, they were all so encouraging, and we pushed each other, so many kids of us. But also in a high school where I grew up I went to Herculaneum High School in home of the Black Cats.
Yeah.
and they had an arts program more so than some of the others. And so I was able to express myself in artistic ways early on. Although I didn't know what stunts was, I knew that I wanted to express, myself in different genres, whether it was theater or art or on film or in TV. And I wanted the action sequences. I wanted to bring those to life. And so first I went, sort of theater, and I also did dance for 18 years. So I have a very good understanding of how my body moves in space. And I also got a job as a magician's assistant right out of high school for several years. And those are stunts, live show stunts. You're doing very daring things, sword dances and drops through floors and all kinds of things. So that was my first introduction into sort of a live show idea of stunts, although it's far from what we're doing. That's sort of the path that began. And then I went to a fine arts university to get a BFA, and then I went to the East Coast first, and then I packed up my little Subaru and drove it all the way across country to LA, and I arrived in 2007 just in time for the writer's strike. So I made do. I, slept in my car. I couch surfed, and then I met some people, and those people led to other people. So that's sort of how it went.
Wow. I know you mentioned you're working on another film right now. Can you tell us anything about that one?
We've signed NDAs for that one, but it is a Doug Liman movie. He's directing, and so and it's an amazing thing to watch him work, obviously, and to be a part of something that he is directing is kind of wonderful. So, hopefully everyone will get a chance to see it in the coming months. But we're just working on the reshoots of it. They actually filmed it a little bit ago, and they're coming in to just get little connecting pieces that we hadn't gotten before. And so I'm joining the team in the reshoots section of this. So it's kind of exciting to find my way into the group that's already been formed. So it's kind of fun.
How do you manage the day-to-day aspect of your work and keep it sustainable? It certainly sounds like an intense profession, to say the least.
It can be, but we have some downtime. What's interesting, it's not all glamour. It's not all glitz and glamour. I know everyone thinks film is so glamorous. There are days where, we are just safetying on set, which is not just safetying, but we are safetying on set, but there's not a lot going on. And so we're just waiting and ready. And, then there are the big days where there's lots of stunts or a big fight sequence that you really love and you just love all the beats. And then there are those days where it's a night shoot. I didn't get a chance to work on Game of Thrones, but the battle sequence, not to give anything away as well for those who haven't seen it, we've seen them before. And I'll just speak of the previous episodes, the previous seasons. Any of the battle sequences, you see how epic they are. But, when you do night shoots for, I believe, 11 weeks or something like that, that is very tough. We did night shoots in Scotland for only 2 months, and that was tough. So I couldn't imagine more of that. So I hands down, I commend all of the stunt performers and all of the performers, actors included, and everybody that worked on that through the night. But so basically what we do is we find ways to after long days or very difficult days, we find ways to reconnect with ourselves or just find ways to, get rest, rehabilitate our muscles. So a big thing is massage therapists or, anything to do with the body, physio, anything like that, chiropractic care. We also monitor our head, our brains, because there's a lot that goes on there. So we find days where we can just calm ourselves down after such intense work. I think that's what keeps us all sort of ready to go for the next one. Finding yoga and meditation.
Yeah. Well, some movie buffs want the Oscars to introduce an award for stunt work. Who from recent years would you want to nominate if that became a thing?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, there are so many. There are so many deserved individuals who paved the way for that to happen. There's a list of so many people that I've worked with that inspire me every day. So I wouldn't even know where to start.
Maybe I can ask in a different way. What do you consider to be exceptional stunt work?
So exceptional stunt coordinating work is running a film that has multiple units going and stunts, lots of stunts that, require wearing a lot of different hats. You're not just safetying your stunt performers, but you're also safetying cameramen and women. You're safetying extras and main actors and lots of things going on. So really everything from John Wick to Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, so basically any movie that has a lot of moving parts, that's high on the list of, wow, they did it and they kept everyone safe.
You're originally from the St. Louis region, CC. Do you ever come back to visit?
When I can, I do, and I do miss my hometown. I love Missouri. I love St. Louis. I love where I grew up. I feel that it gave me the backbone that I have in this very, very difficult industry. It gave me a sense of direction. It gave me my moral backbone, which is tested a lot in this industry, and a fortitude coming out of the Midwest, growing up there, that I think has helped guide me as, sort of my compass through this very difficult and ever-changing industry. So I do try to get back and visit family. I still have some of my family lives there. So on the holidays, whenever I have time, I come back. But this last holiday, I was actually doing work for Avengers Endgame. During the holiday, we were rehearsing. We were doing a pre-visualization of a scene, which is that we're given a scene, and we have to show how we would do those stunts and how it would look in the scene. And then the directors take a look and go, yes, we love that gag. We don't, we want more of this. We like the flow of this fight. Great, let's do it like that. And we can also give suggestions on how to film it to make it look the best, because action being filmed doesn't always look good, just with a camera sitting there looking at the action. You have to sort of know how to, bring it up a notch with the camera moves.
And I imagine, like the CGI, and I don't know all the right terms, but all of that brings in probably other elements with stunt work as well. Oh, yes.
Sometimes we're doing a rehearsal and they're like, and by the way, you are fighting a giant, I don't want to give any of the I don't want to give any of the current stuff away, so I'm trying to pick my words very carefully. You're fighting a giant squirrel, you don't never know what they're going to say. So we have to figure out how to represent that when we're going to do a previs for them, so that they can kind of see what that would even look like if someone were fighting a giant, or flying through something and shooting at the same time. So that does add a new level, especially when there are superheroes involved. We have to find ways of doing stunts that will represent the different powers, that will be added with CGI. And so it's a great combination to bring it to the next level.
Well, what is it that keeps you motivated every day in the work that you do?
My family, my friends. I just love to bring to life imagination. That's what really got me through a lot of things when I was younger, and there were a lot of changes that happened when I was growing up, and so I was a lot in my imagination throughout those years, and having such creative siblings as well really inspired me. So, bringing those ideas to life, or taking that challenge on of somebody else's idea and then going, how can I bring your idea to life, and or be a part of a team. Like, the other thing that inspires me is being a part of such amazing teams with people who are far more talented than I am, that have done far more in the industry than I have done, and they inspire me each and every day. My friend Mo Ganderton, and everybody. I could go down the list. Greg Reminter, everybody. Thomas Culler. They all inspire me, and so that's what keeps me going, is to create with those wonderful individuals and push the limits of imagination.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me, Cece, and we're all certainly cheering you on the big screen from St. Louis.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
That was Barnhart, Missouri native and accomplished stunt performer Cece Ice talking with producer Evie Hemphill shortly after the release of the new film Avengers Endgame. Ice has been the stunt double for actress Elizabeth Olsen in the Marvel Universe and also helps other superheroes masterfully save the world on screen. This is St. Louis on the air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.